Welcome to day 2 of our workshop. Day 1, we focused on the placement and expression of the key features of the face. The result of that is being able to draw really iconic, simple, expressive faces. But they're so iconic, they're not relatable. They don't look like real people. The faces we were drawing convey an emotional message in the same way like the Be Happy yellow smiley face from the 70s does. But it doesn't reflect a personality. It's not part of like a bigger character. So that's what today is all about. Taking those key features and adding on secondary features to create personality. So this class came about because I was about to start a new graphic novel, which means stepping back and deciding what are the characters I want to go on an adventure with. Who are they? What do they represent? What do they need? What do they want? So what I've got on the screen here right now are my first round of character designs for this new, as of now, untitled book. So we're going to break them down and I'll explain a bit of my process here, and then we'll start drawing some faces with personality. So here's a character called Elijah. I like to write little poem-like descriptions of who they are. So Elijah is a good friend, aspiring filmmaker, stranger in a strange town, according to the plot. He carries a notebook and pencil, so he's very organized, but he's a little off balance. So he's more of a conceptual guy. He likes to sit down and write. Here's a drawing of Elijah. You can see he's got a clean, big, open, expressive face. He's the main character in this story. So I want him to be relatable, but also a little bit of a blank slate. He doesn't have a personality that leans too hard one way or the other. There's not a whole lot of contrast in this representation of him. Notice his face is very symmetrical. His features are big and round and appealing. In the same way Mickey Mouse's features are big and round and appealing. There's reasons we use certain forms in an illustration because they convey likability. Harder edges are a little more off-putting. There's a little more distance or hesitation to engage with them because they're sharp. So Elijah is very round. Let's turn off some of these layers here so we can get a better look at him. Here's a black and white version of Elijah. You can see there's nice contrast in his hair, his eyebrows, and his eyes. I designed his glasses to be big and open, so there's plenty of room to follow his expression. Like in this example here, we can clearly see he's looking down at something. And even when we zoom way out, we can still get a good read on Elijah's face. Now let's look at the sketch for this character. I like to show off my sketches, even though they're a little embarrassing because how messy they are. But it's important to understand what a sketch really looks like on an artist's page. My sketches are really loose. They're basic guides. Some artists and illustrators sketch a little tighter so they can almost copy directly over their sketch lines. And that might be the result of sketching something on 3 or 4 layers, going back and erasing the old ones and keeping that final sketch. I try to work with 1 or 2 sketching layers and just get it to a point where I'm comfortable with the proportions, placement of the features, and then go in and just start inking. Now, part of that is because I work in comics, and in comics you have to draw a lot of panels, so simpler is better. But also, I think that faces are more expressive if they have less detail in them. So it's a fine line of enough detail to convey interesting and specific characters, and not enough detail to make them too busy in the face and distracting. Like notice Elijah doesn't have really any eyebrow or wrinkles on his forehead or around his mouth or chin. He just has the main elements with a little bit of accent. Here's another character. Something else we're going to talk about today is variety. So notice these 2 characters look quite different. Just not even in what they represent as types of humans, but just in their basic shapes. Elijah's head is rounder. His features are rounder, more wobbly. Susie, her features are a lot more angular. This character is at a bit of a distance. If Elijah is the stranger in the strange town, Susie is the strangest in the strange town. She's a writer too, but she's more reclusive. You can see from her body language in this sketch here. Her hair is a lot straighter and angular. She's got a long neck and an upturned nose, high eyebrows. She's not making eye contact with us. She's looking off to the distance. She's either distracted or unwilling to connect. These are all little choices that you only learn how to make when you have control over the features of the face. If you don't know how to design an eye that's looking off to the side, you're never going to think to make that choice. So now the question comes up, how do we get these details out of the basic shapes we talked about before? Well, we have to add a little bit more to our face design. So let's get back to that blank page and let's practice placement of not just the key features of the face, but the secondary features of the face. So let's just get organized here. The key features of the face are the eyes, eyebrows, mouth. Those are your key features. Your secondary features are the things that enhance character and also reinforce expression. You've got the jaw, you've got the nose, and the ears. And on top of that, literally on top of the head, you have the hairstyle. Once you have a clear understanding of these, you can work on these. So that's what we're going to do now. The placement of the secondary features.